Welcome back, strategic angling fans. This is episode 30-something. If Brady can't get it right, I may not either, but we're here again with Brady Frank. Today we're going to talk about being a co-angler, and a lot of you guys may be new to tournament fishing, maybe a little bit intimidated to join a club or do a tournament, and I kind of wanted to talk you through, you know, what's right, what's wrong, how to pack, what to bring, how to behave, how to not make your angler mad, and things like that are kind of important. You know, if you're joining a club, you kind of want to get on the good graces of guys. Maybe then you have a fishing partner, or they'll take you out fun fishing a little bit more. This guy over here and I have fished a couple tournaments together when he was younger, and you know, fun fished a lot and everything like that. So you want to kind of, it can be a little bit intimidating because there's a lot of unwritten rules. There's no manual that really says this is what you should and should not do. So I thought maybe we'd bring Brady in and him and I would kind of chat. I got my co-angler bag here. I'm heading up to the upper Mississippi later this week to fish with a buddy. And this is kind of an example of kind of what you want. You don't want to bring a big tackle bag. It kind of doesn't fit in any of the compartments. The boater gets mad, then you got clutter in the boat. And one thing I feel strongly about in the boat is clutter creates inefficiency. If you bring 12 rods, they're tangled all around, and you want to grab your Senko rod and it's tied up to your spook rod, and so you know, you kind of want to limit it to 5 or 6 rods at most, and a small bag. And in this small bag, you know, I can fit some 3600 tackle boxes. Some of them hold 3700 ones. You know, you're going to want some square bills, some medium divers, some deep divers, some spinner baits, buzz baits, chatter baits, swim jigs, and then some terminal tackle so that you can pitch and flip. I have this little bag here that I kind of put some Senkos and some staple type things and just some basic colors, and this goes everywhere. And then I'll put additional bags if I know that it's dirty water and I'm going to be throwing a black and blue beaver. I might throw a couple of extra packs in just so they're accessible. But I always have this with kind of everything that I might ever need. And you don't have to get complicated. You know, if they're biting a spook, any one of the brand name of spook is probably going to work. There might be some subtle differences between a Zara spook and a Strike King, or a you know, one of the high dollar Japanese type ones. But that's kind of an intro. I thought I'd throw it over to Brady, see if you had any general stuff to talk about with co-angling.
To build on what you said, I guess I always would just try to bring probably 3 or 4 rods that can cover a wide variety of applications. Maybe a couple fluoro rods and then a couple braid rods. Don't bring the big tackle bag, like you said.
Yeah, you want to pack light. You want to pack efficient. I mean, you think it takes a long time to retie, but I'll tell you what, after you run down the lake 70 miles an hour, it takes longer to untwine 6 rods together than it does to cut one off and retie it. And you can go back to our line tying video for that. So yeah, pack light, bring a little bit of variety, I think, you know, some variety of colors. Throw some Bravarni swim jigs in there of different colors, because you know, you can do anything in that, any part of the water column. You can put different trailers on it, and I would say that. Now, as far as etiquette, you want to be respectful of the guy's boat. If you see that it's going to run into a rock, try to help stop that from happening. Try not to bring a big jar of Spike It and spill it all over his carpet. That would be a good way to make somebody pretty mad.
Sure.
If you smoke cigarettes, don't burn a hole in the carpet. If you have a big soda pop, try not to spill it on the carpet. You know, just general respect for his property, his or her property.
Pick up your old plastics.
Yeah.
Pick up your tag ends. Just general.
Owning a boat is expensive. It's also a lot of maintenance, you know, and that's why just respect. If you respect the guy's boat first thing in the morning, you know, you see it's going to hit the dock, and you stick your foot out and kind of lessen the blow or push off. That goes a long way to how he's going to treat you the rest of the day. When you get to where you're fishing, my advice personally would be to try to do something a little different than he's doing. Watch what he's doing. Watch where he's throwing. If he's throwing to the shady side of every stump, throw to the sunny side. Or if he's throwing a jig, maybe you throw a Senko. Or maybe he's throwing a bottom bait and you throw a crankbait or a spinner bait. Something just a little different. I think that is good. If you're trying to mimic exactly what he's doing, more than likely you're going to have a little bit of frustration and by the end of the day.
100%.
I think the other thing is try not to, you know, if he's clearly on a spot, like sometimes, especially in the river, you're going to find a spot where there's a rock pile or there's a current seam. He's going to have the boat pointed up at it. He's going to make the same cast, and he's going to catch a fish every cast. And it's going to be extremely frustrating because you're really back there, 20 foot back, and you want to cast there, but do not. You know, just put down your rod, ask questions. If you're respectful and you ask questions, they're going to be more likely to tell you, hey, here's what they're doing here. You're going to learn. And more than likely, if you give the guy some space in the beginning, he's going to try to get you your limit as the day goes on. I think that's one thing that I see as a boater. You know, if I have a guy back there that's real respectful and not real pushy, by the end of the day, I'm going to be feeling pretty bad if I don't get him his fish. So I think, you know, I don't know. You have any advice for lures or what to do different than the guy, or?
Finesse is always a good thing for the back of the boat. I would be using a spinning rod most of the time when I was a co-angler, just because your boater's flipping a jig or flipping a beaver, throwing a spinner bait, doing something. Usually, I mean, on the river you're trying to cover water a lot of the time, but
yeah.
So I would just throw something, like you said, different, but something that's also has the potential to get bit after the fish has already seen another bait.
Yeah, and I think prior from seeing results, you know, BFL, state tournaments, even up to the Everstarts or whatever what are they now, the
Rayovac.
The Rayovac, you know, the open level type AAA tournaments. You know, getting a limit is paramount. You don't have to catch the biggest fish.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in your limit every day as a co-angler. In general, you're going to be in good shape.
Right in the heat of it.
Yeah. One other thing I would talk about probably the co-angler's nightmare would be like a bed fishing tournament. The guy's locked onto a 5-pounder. He's got on a bed and he spends a half an hour working on this one fish. But don't get frustrated, because if you turn around, that whole bay is going to have potential to have pre-spawn, post-spawn fish or other beds that you may not be able to see from where you're at. They may be in deeper water, which sometimes is bigger fish, and you can blind cast around that back of that boat, you know, with a swim jig or a Senko or something, and catch fish that you don't have to be able to see fish to catch fish during the spawn. And I think that's one thing people get frustrated around the spawn. Oh, great, we're going to go sight fishing all day, but don't let it get you down. You know, keep your head up and don't lose faith, because if they're spawning right there, the chances are there's plenty of fish within a cast somewhere near there, I would say.
Yep. Another thing I will say about etiquette is don't step on the seats, and at the end of the day, at least offer to give them some gas money, because at the end of the day, it's their boat and they have to deal with keeping it up, and you're just some guy riding in it, and they probably don't really want in there in the first place. So,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, and you can make the most of this. You know, a little personal story. I was a co-angler one time during the Elite Series, and I was in Randy Howell's boat, and he told me to pack light, and I brought a bag about that big and 3 rods, and he said, "That's all you brought?" I said, "Yeah, I packed light like you said." And he said, "Well, nobody ever listens." But anyway, we've become lifelong friends from that, and just because I treated him with a little respect, we got off on the right foot, had a great day. I don't even remember if I caught a fish to weigh in or not, but he was doing real well in the tournament, and I was trying to stay out of the way. And you know, I earned a friend and somebody I can, an elite, you know, level tournament fisherman that I can bounce ideas off. Hey, I need a little help with this, or you know, hey, can you hook me up with something, you know, for my boat if I need a part or something. But anyway, I think if you look at it in the big picture and say, hey, I'm here to make a friend, I'm here to learn, and not try to be too pushy. I mean, everybody wants to cash a check, nobody wants to waste money, but I think that first part of that day is really important to get off on the right foot and get a relationship that may last longer than the day. You know, I have co-anglers that I fish with, that you and other people that are you know, lifelong friends that that are now, they're boaters, some of them, and we'll chat and we'll bounce ideas off each other, and it's just a good way to meet new people that obviously share the same passion as you. But if you come in there and you're pushy and stuff, you're gonna get off on the wrong foot, and that's not gonna be good.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add? Probably that's pretty much covered it, I'd say. You know, just pack light, pack efficient, pack confident lures. You don't need to read something in Bassmaster and bring 20 bags of scuppernong colored jelly worms. You need to bring what, you know, if it's a California colored sweet beaver or a black and blue swimming craw or whatever it is, you're bringing it. You bring what you think is going to work, and spend your time learning and trying to figure out, now why is he fishing here? What are we looking at here? We're on a current break. We're outside of a spawning cove, or we're you know, flipping laydowns in current, or we're fishing rock. Whatever you're doing, just learn, because you don't need that kind of brings me to the other thing. You don't want, you're not there to get spots.
No.
You don't want to just pick up his spots. What you want to do is learn why he's
they're
fishing,
sitting there,
and then take that to a different area. Don't let him catch you coming back the next weekend with your 4 of your buddies and your kayaks and whacking all his fish, because he may have another tournament that next week. So, but anyway, that's a pretty good rundown. If you have questions, of course, you can always get a hold of us. Most bass clubs are more than willing to have new members. Most bass clubs have available places for a non-boater, or they can try to get you hooked up with somebody that maybe their regular non-boater is sick or out or whatever, and sometimes it's a random draw anyway. So, but don't be afraid to try it. It's a lot of fun. You know, if you were in sports when you were younger, it's a good way to kind of keep your competitive spirit going without risking a hamstring injury.
for sure.
But yeah, that's a rundown on co-angling. Pack light, be respectful, and have fun. And we'll see.
Ask lots of questions.
Yes. Yeah. And once you've established a good relationship, ask questions. What are they doing here? What phase of the seasonal pattern are we in? Yeah, and that's how you learn. And most guys are more than happy to share with you, as long as you've been respectful of them.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks again, Brady. Appreciate it.
Of course.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.